So what we struggle with specifically in health IT are these long sales cycles. And this is a typical sales cycle where you go from awareness, consideration, purchase, service, right? And you can, especially on the larger sales, if it's a large EMR or imaging system sale, it could be 12, 24 months. Maybe you're getting in a 6-month pilot, but then there's a lot of nurture and upsell that has to happen through that. So it's a really long process. And one of the reasons this is so is this is a Google and HIMSS analytics study many of you have probably seen from 2013, is there are so many decision makers involved. These are all the titles on the x-axis of people, from physician, administrators, directors, who were involved in about 750 deals from the study, right? Lots of different titles. We have one client that sells into cardio cath labs, and there were 16 decision makers in the final meeting. That's after they had paired out, right? Anyone else have that similar experience? 16, right? So, and we're even finding this more in mid-market. So even selling in mid-market, selling in regional hospitals, selling into physician practice. My husband is a member of a 6-physician practice, and everyone has to vote, right? So that between the office manager, there's 8 or 9 people, even in a small practice, involved in the decision. So proven ways to shorten sales cycle. There's more than 4, but I'm going to talk about 4 today. The first one is disqualifying more and quicker than you qualify. It's one in 17 years of business I still struggle with every day, and our salespeople, because it's very tempting to talk to everyone or talk to anyone that you think is, hey, I have a great prospect, right? But if you don't disqualify at the outset, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your account rep's time, you're wasting the prospect's time. So make sure that you're doing that and that's a fit. And then I have 3 that are highlighted, and those are ones that I'm going to talk about more today because I think they're more relevant to marketing. So number 2 is talk to the right person. And this is getting more visible in marketing in that, are you getting the right lead? Is it the right person? Is it the person that can sign the check? And how do you get to that person quicker than you ordinarily would? And then building consensus, right? So if you have those 16 people in the room, how the heck do you get consensus with all of them? We have a saying within our agency, there's always one person, and we call them Toxic Harry or Toxic Amy, right? And they're the person that wants to nix the deal. And the 3 words I hate to hear are, I've been burned, right? How many times have you heard that? And that will nix any deal off of that. Now, we've gotten over that, and once you get over the hurdle with those people, they're your friends for life, right? Because you've done the convincing. You can talk to the right person, build consensus, and then finally increase trust and credibility. And that's hard when you're first dealing with a prospect or someone new comes into the department you've been selling to. Like, we don't know you from Adam. Why should we trust you with our hard-earned dollars here, our hard-earned budget? You can do these 3 with some of the techniques I'm going to talk about today. And a lot of that revolves around personalization and making that personalized content available and shareable easily. So if you want to dip your toe into the first personalization efforts, you can do these 5 things, and then I'm going to talk about one that's missing off this list. See if you can guess what's missing off this list. One is probably one you're doing today, kindergarten, segmenting your emails. Whether that's demographically, whether that's, these are people I met at HITMC, these are people I met at HIMSS, you're going to segment them by some kind of sector, title, industry. Needs-based offer. In health IT, it may be macro related, right? There's a mandate, and your audience needs to comply with that mandate, so they're motivated to talk to you about something like that. So maybe you send out some content or emails or advertising around that. And it might also be, let's say, end-of-life software at a hospital, right? They bought GE, and they're no longer going to have that available to them, so you go in with a needs-based offer. Easy stuff. Then you get in kind of the second level, but still dipping your toe in website personalization. Seeing many more companies, even at small to mid-market, starting to take advantage of website personalization. If you're small to mid-market and have a WordPress website, there's some really nice plugins available right now, not costly. Yes, you need to put a little time into thought and workflow, but some of those are starting to appear and be very, very effective. If you're at the higher enterprise side, you can do some really snazzy things with tools like Demand Base and such, where you also have the reverse IP lookup coming in. If you're starting to look into account-based marketing and ad targeting, again, it's starting to be more affordable. Tools like Terminus allowing you to serve ads to accounts you've identified as in your wheelhouse. Your top 3, your top 10, your top 25, for example. Start small, right? And then group content targeting, and this is one I think you've heard in several presentations today. If you are in healthcare IT and not taking advantage, in fact, in pharma and biotech as well, and not taking advantage of LinkedIn and all the LinkedIn features, you are missing a huge boat. Great new features with InMail, great new features that tie into the ABM. Use it, use the groups, build relationships with folks. That's what we're all here and why this conference is so successful, because we build relationships with one another. Same thing on LinkedIn. Okay, what was missing off that list? There's not video. And we've heard from several presentations here today, especially those with larger marketing departments, oh, video's great. Video gets engagement. Yes, video is great. It gets engagement. Video drives buyers to take action. I love this one. 3 out of 5 talk with others and discuss what they learned after watching it. They talk with their boss. If you're going in to, say, a radiology department and you have to go at the departmental level because you can't get to the CIO or the CMO, those guys share video much more often than they share text-based content. And we're very, as marketers, very focused on case studies and white papers and they all have their place. But we often forget about video. And it has a lot of attributes in getting to the right people that the other text-based content pieces do not have. Also, we hear all the time prospects come to us and say, how do I get to the C-level? Well, if you're not using video, you're losing out on a really great opportunity to get to the C-level. Again, maybe not directly, right? But through the people in their department that are going to push it up, because it's so easy to share. And if it's done really well and it's shareable, they're going to do it because it's easy. So 75% of business executives, this is C-level, watch work-related videos at least weekly. Who knew, right? We didn't think they had time, but they're willing to watch that. And then 59% of senior executives agree that if text and video are available, they prefer to watch the video, right? And again, we're doing a lot of text-based content. I think we're ignoring the video. Yes?
Do you have kind of a prime length?
It depends on the situation and where you are in the sales cycle, right? I love a 30-second video, right? If you can get your point across in 30 seconds, and then there's some research on the other side that actually some really long ones, once you're further into the sales cycle, it can be a 5 or 10-minute video if you have those folks' attention. So it really depends, I think, on where you are in the sales cycle, what type of product you have, service you have, you know, and then
also what you're trying to convey.
Right.
Yes. Yes, if it's a very complex topic, if you're going out to a very technical office, if you know radiologists, for example, are going to be, or if cath lab technician is going to be reviewing this and it has to be somewhat feature-laden along with unique value props, if it's at that user level, it can be longer. The C level, we like to go higher level, quick, grab them, and then offer some content off of that. So why don't people do it, right? These are the things we hear. They take too long to produce. It's hard, right? Not easy to update. We have a creative team inside. We can update a white paper if we don't like where it's going. But video is harder, and not many people have a lot of video animation people sitting around their marketing departments, especially at small to mid-market. They're more expensive, although I'm going to show you ways today where you can do it for less than the cost of a white paper, and can't agree on subject, theme, messaging. Well, if you have the last one, you probably can't agree on what it is for a white paper either. So just nix content, right? So we'll concentrate on some of the 3 today. So we always like to kind of eat our own dog food, as I say, and try things in the agency before we use it on clients. So we took our first foray into personalized video and partnered with a video platform company that allows a lot of customization on the user's part. And I'll share some of that. It's named Consensus, if anyone, I'll show that again. But there are other video platforms. I'm not here just to promote Consensus. And the reason we did this is because of the multi-segments that we serve, right? We have clients who are venture capitalists who bring us into telecom software companies. And then we have health IT. It's all tech-based, right? But those are very different audiences. Very different sales cycles, they want different messages. So, how do you put together a website or any kind of content that's going to speak to those people in different ways? So we started using this right off the bat by segmenting by some verticals. And we did that because we were looking at shortening that sales cycle and getting people hooked pretty quickly in there so that we could talk to them and we could qualify or disqualify really quickly, right? So after 63% of people contact a vendor directly after watching a video online. That's a little lower in healthcare. These are general numbers. It's about right in tech. But we do get a lot of engagement. Maybe not a phone call, but an email, right? And this one is really interesting on the right. There's a 90% chance of getting contact by phone or email within 5 minutes of a video view. If you got a platform that tells you someone viewed a video and you know exactly what they viewed and exactly what custom features they picked, which I'll show you in a minute, out of the video, and you know they're either on their computer or they're on their cell phone viewing it, a quick email to them is often great, and it's not creepy. Now, at first I was like, oh, they're going to think that's creepy, right? You're calling them, they know. Most people are just like, oh, I'm so glad you caught me. Right? I'm so glad you caught me because I don't want to waste time and by tomorrow I may have forgotten about it. And this gives us a huge leg up. If I learned anything in 17 years of business and competing against other agencies, it's whoever calls back first gets the deal, invariably. So we did some things. The platform's really awesome in that it allows you to personalize. And we personalized in a few different ways. So we personalized by the verticals we were participating in, and you may say, well, Chris, why aren't you doing those fancy dancy reverse IP lookup and you already know who's viewing your site? Well, the good ones start at like $10,000 a month, and I don't have that just laying around. And you know what was really interesting? People who do call us after viewing these, because they're evaluating us as a marketing agency, they're like, wow, that was really cool that you allowed me to do that. And it was really nice having control. Like I felt like I was engaged with it to be able to tell you what I wanted to see, as opposed to have to sitting through videos that I didn't want to see. So that we did some of that first personalization that way by the verticals, and then this is something snazzy. These platforms allow you to put in questionnaires at the end and let the people, the viewers, select the features or unique value props or services they're interested in, right? So if you have a software product, you can imagine, and you're all the way to the stage of demo, you can imagine you might have some features they're interested in. If you're testing a new market and saying, okay, we've been in regional hospitals and now we may go into long-term care or we may go into ambulatory surgery centers, but we want to test that and see if there's any interest, there's ways to do that too. So in our case, we were asking people whether they were interested in our top line services. Are you interested in strategy and marketing plans, branding and messaging, or tactical program marketing execution? And then getting the results from that. And the gating, a lot of people have asked about gating today. We didn't ask for gating until you were far into the process, after a couple of video views, at least 2 video views in the cycle. So that was interesting, but I don't believe in gating a lot of stuff up front unless you think it's super, super valuable and you'd pay money for it. So the video platform on the analytics side has some really interesting features in that it shows you, of those selections back here, what's the most popular, what's the least popular, and you can even drill down into those and see, of the tech audience, these people thought it was was popular. Tech might have thought strategy and marketing plans were more important, whereas health IT thought it was more, we were more interested in branding and messaging. In our case, this was really valuable information because this is our bread and butter, what we really try and promote. At the same time, I think, ooh, branding and messaging is the least popular. Maybe we're not messaging that, we're not messaging, no pun intended, that well on our website and promoting it. So let's take a look at that. It also can give you vertical interests. So again, if you are going out to several different verticals, ASCs, LTC, along with hospitals, you can see that breakdown. And for us, we saw that breakdown. And this was really important to us because we're really trying to grow our biotech side of the agency. So it gives us real-time feedback. It's super easy to tie a platform like this in with a basic Google Analytics. All right, so we took some baseline before we had the videos on there and then started looking at data after video. Now you could say maybe not all of this is attributed to it, but we certainly had 5 or 6 years of baseline before this. And then this is about 4 months of data, and it stayed consistent over the last 2 months as well. So average time on page went up when we put videos on there, and not only on the home page, but on the sub pages as well. And bounce rates went down overall. And AdvancedMD, I don't know if they're here. Several of you know them, I'm sure. They use the same video platform. Disclaimer, we have nothing to do with them. We are not their agency. But they've used the same concept, increased close rates by 44% going into practices, and decreased sales cycle. They'd send the videos to the physicians and office managers before making any calls. And people would share them, right? There's a really good case study on YouTube if you search AdvancedMD and personalization that explains that. So shortening the sales cycle with video, really tactical, meaty tactical stuff here. If you use the word video in an email, subject line boosts open rates by 19%. We validated that, it's true. And it usually doesn't get picked up in spam. Target a company or individual, not just a big sector. The more personalized you can get, the better. We started with some easy meat, targeting by verticals, targeting by some of the sectors. We were looking at some geographic targeting. But if you are getting down to the ABM level and you want to target IBM, if you can do that and you have enough resources to do that content, excellent with video. And some of the video tools that are coming out right now, you can take snippets and you don't have to re-record a whole animation. So there's some really exciting things coming down the pike that way. And then use video in sales and marketing. Don't just use it in one or other function. Use it in both, use it integrated. We use it in both. More one-offs in sales and more workflows with multiple videos in marketing. So how do you keep the cost low, right? We're all operating on some type of budget, and sometimes it's really lean. My favorite, one of my favorites that's not on here, is a Whiteboard Friday. Get a smartphone, a tripod, a good microphone for $59 on Amazon, sit in front of a whiteboard, and show what you know. People will really relate to you. The founder of Moz does this, if anyone does SEO. Rand is great at it, and he got a huge following with very, very simple, text on a whiteboard. He happens to be, fun and funny, but people get intimidated by that. It's such a great way to convey, and it doesn't cost a lot. If you can get an intern and do things like Go Animate, it's going to be a little bit more basic, but for $300 a year, you can create some templated videos that are probably going to get your point across, throw in a few screenshots and things like that. We have partnered with a company that we've just recently met in the last 6 months called Epic Dog, and Kristen is back there. They're based in Utah. They do, if your features and requirements will let you do semi-custom as opposed to full-out custom, super affordable, super responsive, based in the US. Can't say enough about them. They've been great to work with and came in on great price points for us as well. And then Consensus is the platform. And the wonderful thing about that is for the cost of what you would pay for a fully custom video, people will pay for a 90-second video, fully custom, spending 15 grand is not a big thing. You get the platform and 5 free videos with the Epic Tog team for $11K. So it's a really nice deal if you want to sort of dip your toe into trying that. And finally, some lessons learned. Don't gate or personalize too early. We didn't gate, but we asked people to specify their industry right out of the gate the first time we put this out on the homepage. Are you biotech? Are you healthcare? People didn't like that, it turned out. Once they were deep into our site, they were fine with that. So we've recently revamped that, and we show a little 30-second overview. This is ClarityQuest, doesn't matter what industry you're in. Then we ask them to specify their sector. Now, it's sort of like, you know, asking to be married before you went on your first date, right? They're like, ew, I've just landed on your homepage through something. I don't want to give you that information yet. What is this going to do? People are a bit freaked out by it. Watch your music volume. Again, this is a very tactical thing, but people are in work environments or on a bus, on a plane. Watch that it's not too loud. Or do you need music at all? I think sometimes it's overused. You might be able to get away with an intro, outro. And then the homepage might not be the ideal location for video. Blasphemy. We have several, our video has to be on the homepage. It doesn't. You know, these days, less than half of your views or lands are probably going to the homepage. If you're doing SEO well and you're doing some other promotion of your subpages well, they're landing on your subpages. So the subpages might be the better place. And in our case, we get many more views off the subpages than on the homepage.
What about when you not posting on your page at all, just all from YouTube and there?
Yeah, we like it because we're very focused on SEO as an agency, right? So we like to get the analytics and like to see that, and we have a lot of people landing there. If you get more YouTube visits to your channel, you certainly can use it that way. And then we have other clients who are just using it in a sales channel mode. So this platform came about because people wanted to be able to send demos once they were further down the cycle. They weren't even using it from a front-end marketing. Now it's starting to have some front-end marketing penetration. But yeah, I think it's, where are your viewers? Do you want to use it on LinkedIn? You want to use it through LinkedIn ads? I think that'd be a great way as well.
Regarding your comment on volume, do you have autoplay on it? Do you make people click it, or does it just...
Make people click it. I don't like autoplay. I think that's, again, woo, people freak out and go, oh, I didn't expect this, and you don't know what environment they're in, so we ask them to click it.
When you're creating the videos, or maybe not the personalized ones, but is it a good idea, or is it more effective to have your clients appear in the videos as testimonials? Does that carry any more weight than
Absolutely.
your CEO sitting in front of a whiteboard? I mean, the reason I ask is that it seems like in healthcare, especially, everybody's trying to follow John and do what the hospital down the street is doing. So is it more effective just in health IT, or is that kind of an industry?
To get our testimonial videos more effective than animation across the sectors.
Yeah, because I see all these people spending this money on these crazy, wild animated videos, and then I see somebody just put like a CTO of one of their...
I love just the CTO. I mean, again, that would be the first thing I would do, but it depends. Where are you in the cycle, too, right? So that testimonial, that can gain interest, but I look at that a little bit more down the sales cycle, you know, for a final confirmation. Yeah, you know, Butler University is using this, so, or UPMC is using it, so then Butler wants to. But testimonial videos are great, and they're cheap. I equate those with the Whiteboard Friday, right? And you don't have to be fancy. Again, you can, you know, grab them at HIMSS and take them to a corner and get some videos, and it doesn't have to be super, super polished. So if I were going to do them in order, would I get testimonials first? Yes. I'd get testimonials first if you could do that, but it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're testing a new feature or a new market, that's not going to get that done for you, right? Oh, who wanted a monkey? You guys ask questions. I'll leave them up here if you want one. Any other questions? Awesome. Oh, yep. Thank you. Oh,
This is just regarding the platform. Have you done any valuation versus Vistia?
We have not, and I don't know if Vistia yet has that feature selection at the end of it. I know they have analytics.
I can see that.
Oh, Kristen.
Consensus is built off the Wistia platform, so Wistia is built into Consensus, and they've taken it 2, 3, 4, 5 steps further than what Wistia is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wissio's got the analytics side, but it doesn't have the feature selection like at the end. And that feature selection is super powerful because not only do you serve videos to them based on that, you can also serve PDFs, right? So you can serve white papers based on that as well,
Yeah, okay.
or case studies or et cetera.
So when they make their selections, is in the background, is it actually putting that video together of the pieces that they want to see, or is it multiple videos that
Multiple videos in a workflow are preloaded. It's not that sophisticated. I wish it was that sophisticated. Yeah, we'll get there probably.
Can this be integrated with marketing automation like Pardot?
Yes, we have it integrated with Acton.
Okay, great.
The one about being immediately notified after someone views the video, so you can call or email. How have you seen people manage that? Is it like an alert going directly to an inside sales rep, or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. On our larger client side, because it's, well, it's really interesting because based on some of the features they're selecting on there too, sometimes it's geography, sometimes it's, you know, the vertical, and there's certain reps handling that vertical. So if you have it linked with your marketing automation system, then you can get pretty specific on which segmented sales rep, and then it can even be integrated with Salesforce too. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.